All right, we are live. Welcome back to Judging Bouncing Balls. Toby, how the hell are you?
We're good. We're real good. Exciting week of life. A little travel.
Yeah, you said you put what, 13 hours on the windshield today, this week?
I think it's to be about 1,200 miles. I ended up leaving Green Bay, headed to Garner, Iowa, and then to Worthington, Minnesota. Had dinner with a customer, had a 20-minute meeting, and then drove home. Red Balder home this morning. It was great. Just
Good
watching the
work.
temperature gauge. It started at 77, and then 82, and then I think it topped out at 98 at one point. That's ridiculous.
Hey, we hit 100 degrees here, central Wisconsin. So, that it was nice and warm. And the thing that I thought was the most interesting is this morning when I logged on, it was to check the weather. It was really humid. I mean, I think it said it was 55% humidity outside. And I mean, it was so humid in central Wisconsin that the windows were all fogged up on the outside, that's the first time that's happened this year. So not really hot, but it was really humid this morning. So it felt like a little bit like Florida probably
Right. Yeah, that's what it's like living there, I bet.
every
Fogging up
day.
the windows on the outside is different than the inside.
Very different. Would have much rather the inside. So yeah, it was nice and warm today, but luckily for girls practice tonight, it got a little bit cooler, which was good. We didn't have too much of the heat index. The heat index is something that the WIA really watches closely, and as an AD, we got to watch closely because there's specific rules about things you can and can't do if the heat index gets above a certain point. So yeah, it was. I think the index today was somewhere in the 104 to 105 range. So you saw a lot of things happen, like practices rescheduled to late at night. I know actually Spash boys football or Spash football is actually practicing right now because of the weather. So definitely affected some sports around the area.
That's crazy. Because when I got home, I live in a world where there's a bubble and there's a big fan blowing on us. This guy loves us more most of all. But it was like 77 degrees when I left for practice. It was Philly.
Hmm.
Like, why not move it up here? I mean, like, yeah, I know the Bay plays a part of it, but overall, you know, it's part of living
Yeah,
where we do.
right. Paradise, God's country. So I've been told.
Right, right. Maybe when I'm selling.
Yeah, so
So,
yeah, another week
but
in the
yeah,
books. We got just to update on the girls. The girls are practicing hard. We had the weekend down, the two friendlies. If you had a chance to tune in and see us rambling as we watched our girls play, you kind of know how those turned out. But what was your thoughts on the two friendlies that we had?
it is what it is. But our first game, when we showed up with 10 girls, um, that's disheartening. It is a Saturday morning. We start trying to kick off our season with this. So we did bring up some nines and some tens. Tens, I think it was just Serene at the 10. I think she loved it being out with the big girls. But it's and then the second game we had everybody to play. We ended up with one injury the second half. So the girls saw a lot of minutes. Um,
Hmm.
but overall, we played North Shore Madison. Madison's team that beat us in the state cup last year. We beat them the previous 2 years, so we were toe to toe with them without a problem. So I was happy to see that. Up and down the board, I think our club did good down there. I am happy that we played two games on Saturday.
Yeah.
Sunday, I heard it was brutal down there, and most of our teams had to go back down. So I don't know how we pulled that off, but I mean that's how it should be. The eights,
We get special treatment. We're
right?
special.
We are, and we an update on the we've talked about the national pro tournament or whatever we're doing. That we held out as long as we could, but we are back in. So yeah,
That's right.
going to be mowing lawn if anybody's interested.
One of us. one of us.
Right, right. So if anybody out there needs their lawn mowed, I will do it. It's $1,200 a time.
Hey, isn't that what Joe charges?
Right, it's just a club. If I could get a piece of that action.
No, yeah, the weekend was really good. Shout out to Macy if you didn't get a chance to see the games. Macy had a great weekend. What was it, 2 goals and an assist, or was it 2 assists? Or was it 3 goals? She had three
Goals and
goals.
assist.
2 goals and
Yep.
assists. That's right, because
Yeah.
she assisted on the other. So no, she had a chance at a hat trick in the one game. So I mean, she played really well. I thought she had an excellent game, very consistent both games. So kudos go out to her. And we had Ava was an addition to the team who played excellent. It was nice to see her do so well in the back end. And Emily did great. Yeah, there was some really nice performances by individuals as well. But yeah, coming away with 2 ties, not a bad way to start in friendlies. I think I liked where the trajectory of the team was when we finished versus where we started. So I thought that was the good side.
Yeah. When the excitement of the weekend was Amelia getting completely taken out by their goalie. Um, I did replay that on our broadcast, and yeah, it was blatant. I mean, the ball left, made a move with the ball, and the goalie just cleaned it up. I mean, it was ridiculous. And then the ref to say, "Well, this is my first time ever reffing," so he gave her a yellow card, which he should have gave her a red card,
I don't think he said
which
that, but that's
I don't either. But he seemed like it was his first time. Um,
yeah. He was not willing to give out the red card. By the rule, the letter of the law, it probably should have been, but it's a friendly, so that's probably where he erred on the side of you know not calling a red card. But
yeah, and
last
then he
person to
ended up
beat, and
playing
you
the
take
rest
out
of
a
the game.
player. Yeah,
That's a red.
especially when
But
you potentially or put somebody in danger. That was frustrating from that perspective, but it is what it is. So
you know what's crazy is if the goalie gets a red card, correct, somebody else has to go off.
I believe so. Yeah,
So the goalie's like, "Man, I don't care. Like, I keep playing." Like, how does that work? Do they get suspended again?
I don't know. That's a good question for somebody out there. I am just kind of curious, like who picks that coach. But then, if you're the person that's like, well, if we could pick anybody not to play with us, it'd be you. It's like, what? I'm just
Every
standing over
game,
here.
right? The goalie just punches somebody and like, "See you later, sucker."
I mean, from that perspective, you'd have to feel a little bit like, what did I do? I'm just standing over here and I get booted out of the game. Come on,
Right. That'd be my luck. I'd come off the bench. I'd be like, "I'm gonna play," and then they'd be like, "You're red carded. Get out." I'm like, "Okay."
done. Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, that was an eventful first game, but she's fine. I asked her how her leg's doing. She said her leg. That first game, it was really fine now. I mean, she said it's a little sore, and that's a Charlie horse. So
She probably said, "Dad, I'm in a huge amount of pain. Can I go to the hospital?" And all you heard was, "You're fine."
yeah, pretty much. Oh man, you think I'm bad? You should hear Sarah about her injuries. She's like, you need to learn how to. This is one of those things you're going to get hurt. It's just the way it goes. You got to learn to suck it up. I'm like, whoa, whoa. Sarah's a hard ass. Hey, she's
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 the
a tough.
nicest person in the world.
Yeah, she's a tough love.
I love it though. We're not going to the doctor, Amelia. Oh no.
No, that's just the way Sarah was when she got on the field. If you could ever see a hard nosed player, she really was. She was physical and she was kind of yeah, she was tough. It's fun to watch.
That'll caught your eye. Does it caught your eye?
Yeah, I'm with her. The best part about Sarah, though, this is the best. She was, as you know, she's very nice. She's a sweetheart. She would play very physical, right? So she would go. She was a defender. Girls would come in, and this is the W in the YAC. They would come into her territory, and like she would take the ball, but she would knock girls down all the time. Like physically, would just knock them down in a way that she wouldn't get called. She rarely got calls, but then she would like kick the ball away, and then she'd help them up with this big smile, like, "Oh, help them up."
Come on.
I know.
That seems like her.
It is her. Totally. So, anyways, give her a hard time about that. She deserves it.
Yeah. Oh, next time I see her, don't you worry.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah.
Overall, now where do we go? We are off this weekend,
Yep.
and then we have Patriot Cup, and the schedule came out 8:30 Saturday morning. If our club is listening, it's the 08s versus the 09s. So we take on the younger girls. Game one. And I thought I heard Eric talking some trash because he's the coach, our executive
Oof.
director. So he picked that team. I think he could have picked any team. He could have picked us. He could have picked the 10 girls. And he said, nope, nines are the best team in the land. I'm like, wow, that's bulletin board material. And he's like, I don't care. And I'm like,
Wow.
yeah,
He called us
very
out. Called
surprised.
us out.
Very, very surprised.
Hmm.
But it's out there and you can't take it back. It's like your mom ever teach you the toothpaste thing, and the toothpaste is out. You can't put her back in the old jar. So
Tube.
we're gonna be looking for blood. I'm gonna tell Macy and the girls that this is what was said, and I don't agree with it. Yeah, we'll see if he chimes in and says that it's not true.
Well, and now it's must-watch TV. Paul's even saying he might skip his own daughter's game just to see it, right?
Right?
So,
Yeah.
big deal.
It's, it's gonna be broadcast live. I heard.
That's the rumor. So, yeah, well, that's going to be an exciting one. We're going to have to take it to Eric and his team, especially after
Yeah.
calling us out.
Right. And then we play some Iowa teams, 09s and 08s from Iowa. So
Are those our friends that Mike made friends with?
our I don't know if it's that game, which is a great story. We should bring everybody back to the day when we didn't do any of this, right? We were in
Right.
Iowa. You were the two
That,
there was one
that might have
mom
been our
that
first tournament.
I think so. Well, did you know Evans at the time, Kennedy's parents? Because didn't they say, can you record?
I can't remember. I thought that was the game. That was the one that they couldn't make it, and so then we recorded. I think that might have been the start of all this.
This
No, maybe
exactly.
not though.
So
I can't remember. Anyways,
this is the start of our broadcasting because I remember you had your tripod and we're like we're gonna go live, and then me and Joe went to Wahlburgers, started sucking beers, and we're like we should broadcast. And I came to you and I said, "What do you think?" And you're like, "Yep, let's do it." So me and you started chitter chatter. I look over at Joe and he's giving the finger to the other parents.
now it wasn't unprompted. There was a lot of
Right. It wasn't just
there was a
standing
lot
there
of
like this, like
there was a lot of play in that game. The girls, the Iowa team was kind of being a little bit rough. And then there was a lot of chitter chatter going back and forth, like us saying, "Hey, that's too rough," and they were like, "No, it's not that rough." And so it kind of culminated in Joe telling him that he was their number one fan, and then we look over like, "Whoa, what is happening?"
take it down, Joe. Take it down. And he's like, I don't care. Yeah. And then
And
that
and
this
then,
started the broadcast live.
well, and then there was some how would we want to put it in a nice way? Some stern language from one of our parents towards them, and that kind of was like a stare down, a little. And that wasn't Joe; that was somebody else, and it was kind of like a stare down, kind of like we looking over, like, are we gonna have to fight parents?
Right.
It got heated. It got heated.
Well, it did. And I went into I'll be honest, my brain switched to college mode. And I'm like, if we're doing this, I rallied and went about four deep, right? That was there were three in front of me. So I wasn't the first horse in the battle. I was prepared.
It was. That's probably the most tense it's ever been, I think, on the sideline. That one got escalated a little bit. Yeah.
The first
It,
state cup game we were ever a part of, we played North Shore, and Paul came down to shoot the pictures for everybody, and he was standing like behind, like, because he always kind of hangs on the corners and does his shooting
Right.
camera, and he was like way behind the goal, but not behind the goal. He was way like between the flag and the goal. He was far enough back, like he was bothering nobody. And some dad from North Shore came firing over and was like, "You can't be here," and just pissed off at him. And Paul's like, "What are you talking about? Like, I don't even have a kid out here." And the guy was just because, like, I guess it was goalie, and I think we won 3-0. But it was like people get all fired up. That's kind of the nice part about winning is we really don't have to.
Knowing Paul, he was probably heckling the goalie or something. He was probably
It was
no
like,
no no
nice
no no no
job.
no 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 no. Great reference to a movie there.
Right, right. And he is like, "What the hell's going on?" So there's been some moments, but that there's never been any fists thrown.
Thankfully, that which we don't need to make the news for that, but that game. Though I just remember that was like a tense game. I remember thinking like, "Whew, this
Remember the
escalated
ref
quickly."
finally did a yellow card like 5 minutes left in the game, and
Yes,
the ref could have totally taken control, but he waited and he waited and it kept getting worse.
yeah,
So
yeah. So, anyways, Paul says the guy said you were down 3-0 and I was on the other side before, so it's not me.
oh, Paul told the
Oh,
guy you're
gotcha.
down three
That's what he
nothing.
told him.
Relax. Yeah,
That's funny.
yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's the story how we fired up. Des Moines, Iowa.
Yep. So yeah, that was and honestly, that's probably the most, like I said, it really hasn't happened since then. We've had some moments where you have like a little, somebody says something and then it's just like one thing said and then it's kind of dead from there. But yeah, that one was tense like the whole game. The whole game.
Right, right.
Good time.
I did not need to get beat up in Iowa.
Agreed. I was boring enough. We don't need to make that kind of excitement.
But it was a good trip, right? Des Moines. We haven't been back there, and I'm okay with that. I'll be honest.
Yeah. It's
But
yeah, there's
it
not
was a
not a
terrible
lot going
ride
on.
home, and then you got like halfway home, and you guys went for a hike. Still don't believe that.
Was that the one where we did that? That was more
Yeah,
recent, I thought. Oh, you're right. I think that was. Yeah, we did go for a hike. That's what we do.
because
Take
I got the
hikes.
Fond du Lac when I got the call from my sister, and my daughter that she buried my car into a deer. That was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah,
What are you
it's
gonna do?
good stuff. Yeah,
She was all
at
right.
least everybody's okay.
Right. Oh, Eric joined us. Highway 80 sucks. I wonder if Eric was around for. Oh, he just joined us, so he missed the chatter about him calling our girls out and bulletin board material and
All the things that
man.
he said. If he likes, by the way, he mentioned Interstate 80 Iowa. If you have not listened, I think I've mentioned this before. You got to go listen to Haywood Banks. He sings a great song called Interstate 80 Iowa. You got to listen to it. It succinctly talks about Iowa in about a minute and 40 seconds, and it summarizes all of Iowa. It's very good. It's very correct too. It's
Yeah.
on point.
That was a great state. I was in Iowa yesterday. Northern Iowa. Middle of nowhere. Yep. Hot as hell. I think it was hell. But nice customer
Might have
there,
been.
so that's all that matters. Yeah.
So we might as well then lead into what we were going to talk about then. So best places to go as far as youth sports. This could have been any sport. Obviously, we've talked a little bit about Iowa. I don't think Iowa. I kind of asked Amelia on this on the way home just to get her take. Iowa did not rank. It was not one that was like, wow, really loved Iowa. We should go back. So I think it's safe to say that's probably your experience as well.
Yeah. No, Iowa's out. And I know that's our sister city, but they're good where they are right now.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. Yeah.
But I was hoping whoever we have out there listening that time in and really where have people been? I mean, my daughter's been all over the country, but it was more with cheer. Um, she really liked Dallas. She liked Disney. Um, for me, I enjoyed Rantoul. Uh, that's Champaign, Illinois.
Yeah, Rantoul is one that came up quite a bit. And I will have to admit, I don't really remember Rantoul, honestly,
That was great. So we
other than the
Rantoul's on the
games.
north.
But
Yeah, Rantoul's on the north side of Champaign. So we were trying to find a team dinner, and so somebody picked a bar near campus at University of Illinois, and we roll up to this college bar, and there is people everywhere, and it smells like they were growing pot. I mean, it just, and then there's
I do
beers,
remember that.
right? And they're like, "No, seriously, come on in," and we're like, I think it's best we move on. So that one, but Eric said Vegas. Now there is a lot of
I've never
showbiz
been for
tournaments out there.
I've never been for youth sports. I've been for other things, never youth sports.
So I'll send you an article I just found today because my wife brought it up to me that they're having a huge bedbug problem in Vegas.
Yeah, what a
Who
surprise!
sleeps? If that's all you get when you go to Vegas, you're winning.
I'm surprised it's not an STI problem. That would make more sense.
But Vegas would be great. I think we talked about it. Do you play? When you get to a certain point, if you're really looking for that college recruit, if you don't play club, do you go and guest play out there and be a part of it? Because that's the place to go. I mean,
Yeah,
they get a lot of looks.
yeah, for sure. I mean, and that's a big place for everybody to congregate, so that could be a good one. Like I said, never been
I
there for
mean,
that, so I don't know.
it takes a $3,000 trip, it turns it into six in a hurry. I mean, unless you're winning.
Right? Then maybe it's free.
Yeah, I think I've won one time. I've been out there probably 15 times. Like one time I came back with money. So terrible.
The only time I ever went out there and gambled, I took a 20. I said I was going to only do $20, and I got $8 in, and I quit. I was like, I lost $8, and like, I'm not doing this anymore.
I lost like
I'm not very,
$85 on the airplane ride. Like
I'm not very exciting. I don't like that stuff.
Eric said, Loon's trip winner at 25. I'm in. Yeah, let's do it. Kids are old
Yeah,
enough.
why not?
Maybe
25, they'd be
Brooks' clinic.
juniors.
Yeah. Really?
Well, Amelia would be because she graduates 26. So
Yeah, so does Macy. That's a good year to do the trip. That's perfect. Maybe that's why he
they could
said
all
it because it's
they could all drive for us.
they were driving when we get out
Well,
there.
yeah, they could drive for us.
Probably a better thing. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm down.
probably.
We go to the Grand Canyon. I always saw it
Yeah,
like you'd see those fields like in the like where you were, the Smoky Mountains or Nashville or somewhere down there, right? Carolinas. We go down there to a tournament. I found a tournament in the north side of Nashville and I offered it up to the club. We had just joined the team at the time, so I don't think they were looking to go that far. But I always thought that because it's about 10 hours, so it's drivable, or cheaps are pretty flights are pretty cheap. Um, but I thought Nashville would be fun. I think the parents would have a good time. Some honky tonk.
it would be probably a good time. I'm sure they have a lot of fields down there. There's actually a Knoxville. When we drove through Knoxville, there's a women's professional stadium. Yeah, and they must have in the the women's professional league. They must have a team that's in there because we drove past the stadium. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, let's do it. Let's go to Tennessee. I'm down with that.
Yeah. Paul's in for Nashville. Paul showed me it was over the Christmas holiday. It was like a tournament in the Bahamas. And I'm like, that would be nice.
Club pays
Because
for it,
well, if you're winning, I mean,
right?
At this
Let's go,
point, the
Eric.
club should pay for all of our tournaments. We're the winningest team ever. I don't know if that's true. I have no idea. I don't even care.
Eric is just like, oh my God, no. Why did I tune in?
He's right. Right. He's probably done listening. He's probably yelling at Dusty right now to listen. Would you take these morons?
Yeah, no, I would be totally down for that, except for the cost of getting there. But yeah, honestly, of all the places that I've ever been, I think for to do anything youth sports related, I don't know. We were talking about Cincinnati. Cincinnati was good. Um, and we liked St. Louis. I thought St. Louis was good, but we also had a good time just for non-sport related in Minneapolis. I thought there was just because there's a lot to do when you're there. So
This team has never ventured west, and I don't know why.
yeah,
And
that is kind of odd.
I would rather play. I'd rather drive to Minneapolis 10 times than Detroit once.
Amen. Why is that anyway?
I
Is it
don't
just the
know
way
what
our
it is.
league shakes down?
Yeah, but I don't know why we got into it with Detroit. Like I don't know the makings. I mean, it's fine, but it just there's this big body of water in the middle. I mean, you can get to Minneapolis in 4 hours.
Yeah.
For me, I mean, you're even closer.
Well, yeah, I would be fine with West. That would be awesome. I
Yeah,
don't. I don't think.
but there's
I
some
don't
great
think we go.
places.
I don't think we go anywhere that is not farther for us to try. Well, that's not true. Iowa was closer for us. That was like our one. Iowa was like
Right
we stuck it to you guys.
now, you mentioned Cincinnati and Pullman. Was that ODP?
That was ODP. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So that's why we were there, and that was the Cincinnati. I'd never been. Really cool city. I mean, that was. I would definitely go back there. I actually have a friend that just moved there, so now I have a reason to go. But Cincinnati was. It was a nice town, a nice city. I enjoyed it. So
Eric says
Minnesota's
Minnesota's in
in
a group with Ohio. Who makes this stuff
Ohio.
up?
What? That's like the dumbest thing. Why isn't Michigan with Ohio when we're? I solved that problem in like 2 seconds. What is going on?
No, they want it. They want it just a complete mess. Like, hey, you're playing Nebraska today, and then you're gonna play Indiana. No,
I
we
think
don't want to
whoever
do
came
that.
up with I think whoever came up with that was probably at that place we were at in Rantoul.
Eric says hotel revenue, which I buy, but Paul probably makes more sense that they play high school in fall for girls. Which
Uh,
I'll be honest, I would rather high school girls be in fall.
I wish it was that way too, honestly. I
Because
know
you come
Amelia
out of
does.
that winter, yeah, you come out of spring, and there's some games early on that are in the 30s.
It's bad.
Like right now, it's 74 degrees out. It'd be a beautiful night to play soccer.
Yep. Now, just curious, I don't know anything about do the boys play at the same time with the girls? Or do the
I
boys
think
then have to
so.
play in the spring?
I think they all play in the fall. Because then if you
That
played soccer in the spring or in the fall, you know, unless what are the other sports? Volleyball, cross country, golf. So that frees up track. That frees up the cross is up and coming. It frees up some
yep,
really good spring sports that they could play.
correct. Yeah, I know. And that's why Amelia always is like, I wish it would be that because she wants to do track. She doesn't want to do she's like trying to talk about if she wants to do track like compete in some track events where she can during soccer. I'm like, holy buckets, come on. Can we just focus on one sport at a
So would
time?
that make
At a
13 letters?
yeah, like that's ridiculous. So, anyways,
See, Max,
let's.
this spring outdoor athletes are built different because they're nuts. It's
That is
cold,
true.
right? And then it's like shorts, and like even rugby's got shorts, or lacrosse has shorts, soccer's got shorts, and it's just hard to watch though when you're in the stands and the wind's blowing 30 out of the east and there's snowing and you're in Manitowoc.
Speaking of which, dude, I thought of that. Where was it when we did that showcase down in Indianapolis last year in November? Remember when we got there? There was like 2 foot snowdrifts like piled up. The wind was blowing. I'm like, what is going on? And then the next day it was like 40 degrees. That was nuts.
Yeah, that's well, you weren't at that Friday night game. You came out later, right? Because you guys went
Correct.
down late.
Yeah, we couldn't
Yeah,
make
we
it to
played
that
in
one.
like a snow globe. That was actually pretty cool.
Yeah,
Um, but then a Saturday, like you busted your butt down there, and then Saturday night game is canceled.
yeah, that was awesome. Good memory.
Thanks.
But yeah, I had forgotten about that part. But thanks for
Right.
bringing that
Sorry.
up.
Sorry. We'll let that slide. But
But
that's
Max is
that's
correct.
we.
Yeah, the spring people are built different. Yeah, those especially those lax players, they're nuts.
Yeah, this is a big year for him, right? WIAA. Do
Mhm.
you have a lacrosse team?
Yeah, we're a co-op with the local parochial school, but I don't. Last I heard that that's not going to be much of a co-op much longer, just because. Again, I've only heard rumblings from people on the lacrosse team, and that it doesn't sound like that's going to continue on for much longer. So
That's too bad.
I think the team is going to continue. It's just not going to be a
Oh,
co-op. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think I
somebody's
that's a,
somebody's
yeah.
dumping somebody.
Well, and I think
Yeah.
part of it was there just wasn't a lot of players from one of the schools, and so then it's kind of like, okay, well, if you're not putting anybody in, there's no point in you being in the co-op. So, but who knows? I don't
You
know.
know, yeah. You know what's crazy? I did have a nice conversation with Stevens Point did not get approved for WIA. What's that about?
If only we knew somebody at WIA.
Right. We got to get stuff back on the podcast. There's so much to talk to her about.
I know.
Um,
Agreed.
I wonder if well, your school board denied it, according to Max. Did Green Bay area get the state championship for the lacrosse? Remember they were looking at a few different areas. I think Green Bay had applied. I thought St. Norbert's field would be great. Amherst denied
And Amherst enters the chat.
it. Like out of the blue.
I have a feeling that
Speaking of,
Bill doesn't even watch anymore because he doesn't he's just done. He's like, this is
ah, yeah, that's all right. He was in it for a minute. Max said they did not. We did not get the lacrosse championships in Green Bay. I bet you Madison got them or somewhere dumb. Amherst. Oh, I wonder
man.
if Kimberly got them. Kimberly probably got them. Their pontoon boat eating beeping mother beepers.
I was gonna say, along with winning the pontoon boat, they also won the
Right.
contract for the.
So pissed at Diane, whatever, winning a green pontoon boat. Big game tomorrow night, right? Kimberly Bayport. I don't know if it'll be a big game, but hopefully Bayport can show up and see what happens. Greg said tonight that Kimberly lost or they graduated their quarterback, so I'm sure they got one of 30 left.
Yeah, they've got a lot of depth. Now, are you gonna go to that game?
Well, I don't want to, but I found out tonight that Macy would like to go.
Okay.
Thanks. And so I'm like, well, hey, getting home. And she's like, you. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing. That's just what I want to do on a long week is go to Kimberly and sit by myself.
Well,
I'm
I'm sure
hungry.
you have some friends there. Think about how many people watch the show and are like, "Wow, we'd love to hang out with Toby."
Right. I don't think that's the case. I don't. I did. I went to the playoff game last year because Macy wanted to go, and Katie was down there, and they took off on me, and I sat in the stands
Hmm,
by myself. Actually,
sounds
I
like
stood
fun.
in the bathroom for like 20 minutes till I was froze. So
Hmm.
maybe I'll go sit on the Kimberly side. I know more of them.
Yeah, there you go. Is Greg going to be there?
He said he might. Said he
Cool.
might. Rotten hell and said like to cheer for Kimberly. I just can't do it.
Well, he can't figure out what team he wants to support anyway.
Yeah, he's a Nina guy. Nina won, so he's the Nina guy.
Boom. All right, good. So yeah, anyways, yeah, maybe you can head down there then. That'd be a good time. You'll enjoy that.
Yeah,
You got nothing
but
else to do
yeah,
anyway. Yeah,
actually I have the weekend off. I'm going to the Packer game. Not at noon. Who puts a noon Packer game on? On
people who people who want to have their Sunday or Saturday night.
right. I guarantee they're like, how do we get rid of this game and make it? Wait, we used to. So we don't. The NFL doesn't play over Labor Day.
No,
They used to always start. I remember Labor Day
they
games.
it always was, and then they've ever since the last I don't know 10 years they've always been the weekend after, which is annoying.
Has it really been that long? I didn't even pay
I
attention.
think so. I remember when I was in high school, that was always the first game was on Labor Day weekend. And that was great because then it got started a little earlier. But no,
Yeah, I could use Monday as a day of rest. This is the Packer game.
correct.
Bad ice. Bad ice. Where else? What other? I know there's some other cities, but I haven't been to Cincinnati. I know I've been to Cincinnati for work, but I've never been there to play sports. Paul,
True.
Paul said the NFL moves their game over that weekend because they don't want to compete with the Patriot Cup.
That's probably true. It's a
I
big
bet she's
draw.
right because we do take up quite a few of the hotels.
Right. It's a good point. Yeah, for those watching, what towns do you like to go to? What cities? It doesn't have to be a city either. Maybe you like, you know, Hell, Michigan, or I don't know, wherever it is. Yeah, what's the
I do
town you
wish
like to go to?
that they would, if Marquette, Michigan would get their act together and have a tournament in the Superior Dome.
That would
That'd
be
be
kind of
fun in the
cool.
winter to go up there and play in the largest wooden dome in the world. I wonder if it's still that. I don't know. It was that in 1993 when I was there. But there's some
Hmm.
great places in Marquette. Fun time.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
Let's see.
Oh
Largest
man,
wooden dome in the world.
don't ruin it for me. If it doesn't say Marquette, just be like, hey, it's Marquette, just so I feel good about myself.
Superior Dome in Michigan.
Yes.
You called it. Look at
They
that
got a new
thing.
locker
Holy
room.
buckets.
You should see the new locker rooms.
Huh.
They spent some
I know the
cash.
I was in a wooden dome up in Rhinelander, I think, or Eagle River. Eagle River. That's where it was. It's not this big, but it's actually it's kind of weird to be in a wooden dome.
We
Yeah.
used to play our intramurals in that bad boy. We'd play basketball, and then we'd play um, football. Play or that two hand push.
Yes.
What Eric? Appleton is becoming favorite destination for Minnesota. Well, then why aren't we playing there once? It should be reciprocated.
Do you want to know what's funny? When I asked Amelia about all that were her favorite, she listed off a couple that she liked, but then she said Appleton's actually my favorite one to go to. So there you go. Appleton.
I
Now
will
for you
say,
guys, that's like you staying home. But for her, that's like, hey, the big city in Appleton. So there you go.
but our travels. We were talking about this at practice, and our travel season is very light because we played two at Appleton, two in Milwaukee, and two in Michigan.
Right.
And I'm not going to Michigan, so I have to travel to Milwaukee twice and Appleton, and then we have State Cup. We've got Patriot Cup. Our club is has done a great job of hosting, and I think uh, the state people really like what our field is in the grass fields and that. So I hope that we continue to get that contract because having state cup is a huge advantage for us.
Right. Yeah, Eric said that Minnesota doesn't have a strong track record for 08s. What about St. Croix? Isn't St. Croix like their perennial powerhouse? Oh, there he goes. Besides St. Croix, he said, "Huh,
Yeah,
that's surprising."
we played. Well, we got beat by Bereal in um,
Bereal.
Iowa, didn't
Oh,
we?
that's right.
It
Yeah,
was a
Bereal.
terrible game.
That was a terrible game. Ugh. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was bad.
Have you, Paul's right? Have you ever played on the Wausau fields? They're built on like a dump,
Yeah,
but
I have a daughter in
they're
the club.
beautiful. Got to
Yeah.
keep that down. Or else your dues double. They got to
Yeah,
make up for
well,
that money they're losing.
I tried to convince her to go over to Appleton, but she wasn't having it. So I tried to convince. Did you know that nine? I think it was nine, 8 or 9 players from her team in Stevens Point went to Wausau, and I tried to get them to go over to Appleton, but they thought the drive was too much.
How far to Wausau?
It's like 40 minutes, so it's like another 20 minutes to go to.
So how
So
did your
yeah.
daughter get to Wausau?
So now they do a carpool because there's so many people going up there. Then, like 2 cars, they set it up for schedules and then once in a while it's like I told Sarah this week she dodged it twice because somebody was like, "Oh, I'll take your day on Monday because I wanted to go up and do something." It's like okay, and then the practice today that she switched with them on got canceled. I'm like, man, you weaseled your way out of that. But she's like, "Well, I'm gonna try to pick up somebody else's shift." I'm like, "Why? You got out of it."
There she goes again, right? All being
I know.
nice. Like,
Trying to be nice. But yeah, so no, she's up there. But yes, it is literally it's an old garbage dump, and the fields are phenomenal. They're like mowed impeccably. They look great. The grass is always like perfect. But yeah, they're on top of a giant dump, and then you see they have the gas that's burning natural gas off of it. I mean, yeah, just like most of Wausau, it's a dump. So
is Wausau bad?
no, it's just I don't know. Stevens Point and Wausau definitely have a rivalry. That's for sure. It's probably not the same as like Wisconsin. It's not like Wisconsin Rapids and Stevens Point, but there's. What's interesting? I worked in Wausau for almost 5 years. There is a different kind of breed of person from Wausau to Stevens Point. It's noticeably different. And I've talked to a lot of people that do that commute, like live here and go there, or vice versa. And there's just a difference in people. I'm not going to say one's better or worse, but it's different. You notice it.
Yeah. I just drive through. I don't
Yeah,
stop. Oh, there's a quick trip. I've been there.
there's a lot of money in Wausau. A lot of money.
Yeah.
That's the good
That's
side.
Green
So,
Heck. Green Heck is the company, right? They're putting up the big. Hey,
yep.
speaking of that, I know I showed you, but it was on Twitter. The new high school football stadium in Texas, north of Dallas. I saved a picture of it. I thought. Um, oh, right here. Melissa High
Yes, we
School.
can. Yes, Paul, we can pick on Wausau. I approve
Amherst, you're off the hook.
it.
But
I
this
think I
place
think
is
he. What was
40
that?
miles north, 40 miles north of Dallas, Texas. Melissa High School has 1,300 students. They just built a $35 million football complex, 10,000 square foot seat stadium with a club level that has couches, and their indoor facility looks better than the Green Bay Packers.
Here, I'm going to share it. I'll put it on the screen here just so people can see it. Da,
Like
da,
it's
da, da.
this, and I know it's private money, so they didn't use it for the education. This is big time stuff, but this stadium is unbelievable. And if you look, they got one in the background
Yeah,
too with a track around it. They didn't even put a track around this thing. Like they're like, yeah. We don't need soccer.
Well,
yeah, they
they
didn't
have to.
We don't need, right? This is strictly football, and it looks like a college stadium. And their weight room, geez, can you find it?
Okay, I think this was an epic on my side.
That's right.
Oh, do.
I tried to do it and it like melted down.
Okay, no, but it's Melissa Melissa High School.
Yeah, I
If you get a
found it,
chance
and
out there, take a look at this thing.
yeah, I tried to share it, but I started to cut your feed and everything. So, anyways, yeah, it's nutty, right? And I actually asked some people about it, and Paul's exactly correct. 1,300 kids. Just for perspective, I think Bayport, you guys are about 2,000, aren't you? Ish.
Yeah, like 1950, 2000. Yeah,
Yeah, we're 2,000 with all four grades. So I mentioned it to our AD, and he had seen it too, and I'm like, are you like, can you believe that this is that they can pull this off? I mean, we don't even have our own stadium in Spash, let alone having a $35 million stadium that has, all these amenities, and it's just unbelievable. Everything's bigger in Texas, though. That's what they say.
yeah, oil
Except for,
money, right? I mean,
except for whatever they're
then
compensating
again,
for.
if somebody came in and said, "Hey, Bayport, here's $15 million, build yourself a football stadium," they're not going to say no.
No.
And plus, you can tell them what you want to use it for. I mean, if you want to go into football, you go to football. It's not even the
Yeah,
top 30 in Texas. Google Texas high school football stadiums. Yeah, I know there's some monsters out there, 20,
that
30,000.
it is nutty. That's what I was gonna. If I ever won that Powerball, that was 1.5 billion. I should just build a new school. They would love me. I could just buy a little plot on the outside of Stevens Point, buy it, just build the whole new complex. Call
Turn it into a
it, name it
business.
after, name it after myself.
Big picture of you, the mascot's you, like everything is you.
How amazing would that be?
All right, here's something. You had $15 million, right? Now you had a
Hmm.
whole bunch of money, but $15 million, you had to donate it. So you can't donate it for a good cause. What, like, if you could put a stadium, or you could, like, what would you do with it?
So you have to donate it.
Yes. Now you can you can build something to make money on it, but it can't be like, oh, I gave it to this group because they needed, you know what? No, this is for strictly like sports related.
Oh yeah, no. That from that perspective, I would totally build a multi-sport complex in Stevens Point. I like that would if it's something. I even thought that if they had the money, I would love to do that. That'd be an awesome venture. Build something where it's like a hockey rink and a basketball, kind of like what they have at the Champion Center in Steven
Yeah.
in Appleton. That'd be amazing. I would love to do that. That'd be sweet. And then remember, like when we were in Indianapolis, they have that really nice restaurant slash bar, and you can watch the games inside while you're in there. Like, that's awesome. We should do that. Stevens Point, we should do that. Centrally located, just 2 hours from everywhere in Wisconsin. Everybody could come here, right off the freeway, right off Highway 10.
Yeah, but you're gonna need a dome to make some money.
Oh, for sure. No, a lot of this is going to be indoors. Hey, if money's not the object here, we can do this. Something like they did in Indianapolis. Put a couple fields in there, make it happen. Multi-purpose. You can do softball. You can
How
do
many?
soccer.
They have 3 full fields in Indianapolis.
Yeah, 3 full fields. It's huge.
And then you can walk on the middle. You can walk second, like up on a viewing deck. That's a big
Yeah,
place
and
though.
Andy's correct. 15 million is not going to do that. You're going to need like 100.
We're gonna need some of that peer money that he's sitting on.
Dang right. And then I mean, then the person that you have to bring in to do those floors, I mean, they're not cheap either.
We're gonna make some cash. But I think if you had two sheets of ice, because ice is hard to find, right?
Hmm.
You do basketball courts, maybe one.
Well, you could have multi-purpose, so like even the one where they bring in the floors. I mean, they can do that. What is that?
$1 bills.
I think those
I
are
don't know about
euros.
that.
What country is Andy from? Yeah.
Well, you're right, because even right now, if you had an indoor facility, like an indoor warehouse that didn't like that was without the poles in the middle, that they built it correctly, like Player's Choice,
Hmm.
you can rent it. Put turf in it. People, my neighbor did it where they put up a warehouse and they sold 70 key fobs for $700. Sold out
Yep.
in 6 hours. 49 grand. Here you go. Put it in your pocket. Pay all your bills. Do it for 5 years and then dump the building.
Yeah, that actually Mosinee has something kind of like that. It's like all baseball, and they give them key fobs so people can get in and do their training and do their weight training, and they can throw and hit, and people, it's like booked all the time. People love it. I
Yeah,
mean, it's hard to find space in the winter, so if you have it, you can make some cash on it.
we have great ideas.
We
We need to
do.
be
We just don't
sponsored
have
by like
money.
an ice cream truck money. That's what we need. Great
That's what we
cash.
need. Yes, straight cash, homie. We need more ice cream trucks if we're going to fund $100 million project. A lot more ice cream trucks.
Yeah, you got to get a tax break. I listened to a commercial today that put up solar that they pretty much give you everything for free. So we'll just put solar on it.
Right. Whole roof. Solar.
What if we call it? Nah, I don't want to say. I'm just gonna piss people off, but like a country, and then they just hand out money to the government to the country. Like a buddy of mine works for the U.S. Forest Department on the federal side, and he said they had like $29 million left in their budget, and it's like, well, let's go. What if we like? I'm like, what if I come up with a company that I rent porta potties to the forest department, so when they go to the forest, they have a place to pee. And he's like, I'm like, would be like $15 million. And he's like, might work. So we just need an idea.
Okay. I think you just hit on my overrated, unpopular opinion too, because I'm going to remind you. You mentioned something that triggered my thought on unpopular
The
opinion.
forest department.
It's not the forest department. It's somewhat related. But yeah, no, dude. Yeah, we could have the new Kazakhstan building, right?
Since they will call it Ukraine, and then they just shell us money.
Well, I was trying to avoid that because I
I
knew
know,
that's
me
where you were
too.
going.
Me too, but I can't avoid it. It is what it
And
is.
every and everybody loves Kazakhstan, right? Because of Borat. High five.
Put
So,
in all the bills in Congress. You know, we. I think I told. Well, I did tell the story how we got our funding for our trip to Savannah and in college, but that's how we did it. We corrupted the government, so it's doable.
nice. It's not campfires, Paul. Don't worry. I actually like a good campfire, so we're good there. Nothing like a
You
good
really? I
campfire.
hate campfires.
Wow, really?
That's
Huh.
bad. I should have saved that.
You should have saved that. That was good.
We'll come back to that. I'll tell you why
Champion Center
later.
was
But okay,
$30 million. I have not been to the one in New Berlin. Softball,
softball,
basketball, and
basketball,
soccer.
soccer.
Yeah, I know the one that they're doing up in Wausau for DC Everest. I think is 80 million. It's crazy. Like it's and they're putting in a whole nother sheet of ice. They're doing an full indoor soccer field, which can also be a football field, which then could also be baseball and softball. I mean, it's. I want to say the one up in DC Everest was 85 million, something like that.
And that's non-taxpayer, right? That's all that private funding.
I believe most if there is some publicly funded, it's not most. It's most of it's private.
Yeah.
Um, I'm
Damn.
just looking that up real quick. I want to say that it was Green Heck did most of it. Apologies, it's 35 million. 35 million. That's right. I was off by 50. That's a lot. But yeah, $35 million still, like, holy buckets.
Well, you look at the Champion Center, and then you look at the footprint. I mean, the parking lots and the whole land, it takes up a big chunk
Yeah,
of real estate.
that is a massive endeavor. So hotel tax paid for that? Who goes to Appleton and is generating that kind of hotel tax money?
A
Wow.
lot of people, like every Packer game is booked. Every
That's great.
tournament
Oh,
we
that's
have
true. I didn't
booked.
think about that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the PAC Center. Appleton's actually, I'm surprised that Green Bay gets all the hub because of the Packers, but Appleton is a lot bigger, isn't it? When
I
you
think Green Bay's
include
bigger.
Nina, is it? Well, we're only about yeah, I guess, but it's interesting. But I think there's a lot more to do in Appleton.
I would agree with that.
I mean, ever since we lost Port Plaza, the mall, we got an Orange
Yeah.
Julius left.
Appleton is 75,000. Green Bay's is just over 100, right?
110, 120.
Yeah.
What if you add in Nina and Matrasha and Kimberly?
All the surroundings. Yeah. Well, but that's the same with Green Bay, though, too, right? If you throw in De Pere and all the others, I mean, they're
We don't
right.
throw in De Pere. Pier's on its own.
East and West
No.
De Pere.
Right. 2 school districts. Blows my mind. Andy, if you're just, it blows my mind. I think more money than they know what to do with. So let's have 2 superintendents.
Right.
So when I went to Green Bay Metro was 250,000. Man, I'm
There
way
you go.
behind the times. My last game, when I went to Monterey my sophomore year, Abbott Pennings is our big rival, and that's where Andy went. And our coach made us drive all the way around De Pere and come in through Wrightstown because he said he's not driving through De Pere because it smells like
What?
something. Yep. So we drove all the way around. We go to the fields because the fields are on the far south side of De Pere by St. Norbert's. And we beat Pennings mostly because of a 49-yard interception return for a touchdown.
By you?
Yeah.
What?
Dude, it was amazing. I'm going to be honest.
Did everybody fall down? What happened?
Whoa. The fat guy joke. So freshman year, I was quarterback, and because I knew the plays. And then we had another kid that came and played quarterback. So sophomore year, I played outside linebacker, and the whole game they just kept throwing this little pass. And my coach comes over to me at halftime. He's like, "Listen, you should have like 7 interceptions. You don't even have any." I'm like, "I know, coach. I'm really trying hard. I'm giving her hell." So I finally cheat, and I take like 5 steps out, and they still throw the ball. Coming right there, bam. Longest 49 yards of my life. I mean, I'm elbows and a-holes just screaming down the field, and the only person screaming is me. So I get there.
You're like BJ Raji.
Right. I had like a little better, a little skinnier, but I had like a 10-yard start, and I make it in the end zone. So now my problem is I am the holder for the extra point. I cannot catch their
That's
and so I call timeout. And the coach is like, "Why did you call timeout?" I'm like, "I can't breathe, coach. I can't breathe." So
that's
we
awesome.
settled down, made the extra point, and then we drove right through downtown De Pere on the way home. Coach Kreider, God rest his soul, he was fantastic. Stuck at the Pennings the last time we ever played him.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Big interception.
He says he doesn't remember that, though. Andy says he doesn't remember.
He probably wasn't on the field. Wow. I actually got the nickname Wheels for a while.
Wow.
Yeah. I think it was derogatory, I'll be honest.
That's pretty
I
good.
got right. It's like my buddy who I played rugby with, we call him Skinny, even though he's a big dude. So, but it wasn't the touchdown. It was amazing.
Hmm.
But Paul State, great football complex is Minahan Stadium. Oh yeah, what a dump that was. You ever been there, St. Norbert? Did you guys did play? That was D3. You were D3, but you didn't come over here in the
Well,
Catholic League.
yeah, I never played in St. Norbert's. No.
It was like a track from like 1922. It was like rocks, like black rocks,
Nice.
and this old wooden structure. Yeah, they thank God they built a new one. Schneider Schneider Trucking Field or something.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's back in the
Did
day.
you did you keep the ball? Paul wants to know. I mean, that's a big
No,
moment. What?
it was a huge moment. I did not get the ball. I probably would have, but so tired. I needed to put my hands above my head so I could breathe. So I dropped the ball. And I was still wondering what the hell I was doing in the end zone because I had no idea how I got. I kind of
Did
blacked out for a minute.
I was gonna say, did you have a dance? Anything that would live on forever?
You know, you think you're gonna do this amazing thing, right? Like maybe the Michael Jackson or the Icky Shuffle, but it was strictly I was in survival mode at that point because I don't want to pass out. I don't want to go down, so I called timeout.
Nice. Hey, you scored though. That's all that matters.
All that matters. And my dad was video recording the game, and if you watch it, yep, it's
Where is
awesome. He's
it?
like, he goes like this. He goes, "Holy!" And he goes, "Oh crap!" Missed the whole thing.
What?
Yep.
Oh,
I think he was so surprised that his son was doing it that he just dropped the camera. So disappointed.
that is terrible. I would give almost anything to see that.
Me too.
uh, he says you'd keep running like Waterboy, but I think you'd be like Forrest Gump, wouldn't it be?
Well, Forrest kept ran a lot. I'm not a runner. It's still to this day I'm not a runner. Private school, what's the touchdown?
Hmm.
Count the same as every other school in town. 6 points.
Fun story. My nickname was Wheels, actually.
No wonder we found each other.
See,
Gosh. Now
like
yours
two
are probably
peas in a
because we're
pod.
next. Right.
I had my moments. It had to be something.
Did you ever score?
Huh. Not in college. Because in college, I ended up quitting before when like we got married, and I only played 2 years. So I traveled with the team. I got in some games, but I never scored. And in semi-pro, I scored quite a bit, which was fun. But
With the
yeah,
lady.
oh yeah, no, I was married at the time. Uh, but no, it was I got to score at like the first. I played for the Fox Valley Force out of Appleton. The first touchdown in that franchise history, right here, against the Green Bay
Wow.
Bobcats. Twice in that game, in the first game we ever played. Beat them 28-0. Scored two touchdowns. Yep. What can I
Did they
say?
chant MVP?
No, but it was fun. That was a. We'll have to talk about semi-pro someday. That was quite the experience. Maybe that's for another day.
Well, you're gonna have to talk about Metro because one of us played and one of us didn't.
Yeah, it was fun though. So yeah, we'll have to talk about that. That's for another day because we could easily spend an hour on semi-pro and all the things that we ran into. I played with some former Packers. Yeah, it was a good time.
Oh, excuse me. You know
So
what I want to do ask is that the people listening though is what topics they want to hear.
yes, that's a
Right? We talked
good
about it before.
question.
We've talked a lot about the real pro. You know, when we started this thing, we had a pretty good list of topics, and we kind of ran through them. And I think our best topics are when we have going in, if people know it. I thought the sports. movie one was great. I think that brought a lot of interesting comments. Tonight the cities. I mean, we've had some new people pop on, and which is great, and offer up some advice or at least their answers. So if there's anything out there we want to talk about, probably not on the not political. We don't want to talk about. Don't want to get too crazy down that slope.
Yeah, but no, yeah, if somebody wants to talk about certain topics, shoot us respond to this because we'll see it, or yeah, just let us know kind of what you're thinking because then we can dive into that and it'd be fun. So let's do it.
Yeah, and hit like. We need more likes. That's how you get paid, and we're not getting paid
Right.
unless you are. Are
So
you getting paid?
no, that would be nice, but no. Um, so unpopular opinion. Do you have yours?
Well, I kind of said it earlier, but I had one. Oh my god, I forgot it. But I don't like
Yeah.
campfires. I can't stand campfires. I think they're terrible. I think they're terrible. You sit around and the smoke blows in your face, and then you smell like a campfire. And then before you go to bed, I got a shower. I don't want to shower at midnight. I don't want to shower at 11 o'clock at night. Had a couple beers. I want to go right to bed. No, not in my house. You shower, and that stinks. So I kind of just moved from campfires.
So what about a campfire? Like if you're not at your house, like you're just out camping and you have a campfire, is that still annoying to you? Because you don't shower when you're in the middle of the woods.
I'm never gonna be in the middle of the woods at a campfire.
Wow,
I can't
really?
camping is terrible. Terrible.
Okay.
Now I will say if I had one of those monster campers with the big bed and the television set, I would camp. But we've tried
Okay.
camping, and my wife wants to buy a camper, and we hate camping. The first
Hmm.
time, and this is a quick story. So before we had kids, married with my wife, we lived in our first house. So we're gonna go camping. So I went and bought a tent, packed up the car. We drove up to Door County, set up the tent, made a little fire. We went out to dinner at the bar and had a couple beers, and we came back. And I'm like, all right, let's have a fire. So we get a fire going. It's about 10, and let's call it a night. I go in the tent. She goes in the tent. We fall asleep. And I swear to God, at midnight, that the largest grizzly bear in America was at our tent. It was making noise. It was terrible. Now, given the fact it was a squirrel, but I thought I literally made my wife get up and I said, get in the car. I took the whole tent, everything in it, and I jammed it in the trunk. I broke everything with this tent that it came with, and I had to push the trunk down. And at 3:30 in the morning, I was in my bed. And I said, never again. I thought we were going to die.
Wow. So
Grizzly bears
alone
in
is
Door
not in your
County.
future.
No, I wouldn't last the boat ride to the island. I'd be like, yeah, no, this sucks. This is dumb.
See, I kind of would like to do alone. If I didn't have to teach, I would apply for that. That'd be fun.
You think you can handle it?
I I like to think I could handle it.
If the show alone meant me driving to Montana by myself in 2 days, I can handle that. That's simple.
Fair enough. Yeah, I
But
kind of like the campfire. I'm not gonna lie, but I don't have the greatest nose, so then the smoke doesn't bother me. But Sarah is not a big fan. Whenever she smells campfire, she likes camping, doesn't like the campfire smell, so it really bothers her.
how does that work then? Does she just stay away?
I don't know. No, I mean we still do it, but she just doesn't like it. Like if we, like for example, if we are gonna go out into our yard and do a fire, she hates that because then we come back in the house and we smell like campfire. Camping, she can deal with it. So
Okay. See, that's our problem too. And then you get into bed and your bed smells like campfire.
correct,
So you got to
correct.
shower.
See, I don't notice any of it because I my nose barely works. So yeah, I blame it on literally two things. I grew up on a farm, so like a lot of the time I don't notice it. I did notice it tonight though. That was pretty good for me. But because Appleton smelled like a barnyard. But then I played tackle football with when I was in high school. I hit a dude's forehead, like right here. He was running full speed at me. I'm running full speed at him. I hit him with my nose in his forehead, and my nose has never really worked very well since.
It's an interesting way to tackle.
It was a dumb way to tackle, and there was a lot of blood and a lot of screaming. So, but anyways, yeah. Okay, my unpopular opinion. I absolutely detest the dog poop bags. Detest it. And here's the reason why. People leave those damn things all over the place. If your dog is going to crap all over and you're going to pick it up, fine. But at least throw those dumb things away. When we go out into the woods and when you said the forest and you said about peeing in the forest, it made me think of this. Because we go out on these hikes and people will take those bags and they will bag up the poop and then they will leave it next to the trail. They won't even throw it away and they'll leave it there. It would have been much simpler if they would have just let their dog crap all over and it would have decomposed naturally. But no, they're going to put it in a plastic bag, leave it sit there, and it's going to last for another 70 years because they put it in plastic. Just let the dang thing crap on the woods at that point or on the trail. At least it'll be gone in 2 weeks, not for 50
Right.
years down the road. Drives me crazy. Those dog poop bags, not a fan. So that's my rant on the unpopular. I don't like those, and I would even when we take our dogs out, if we do use them, I will throw them away. But I like to actually dig a hole and bury everything. I'd rather do that. I'd rather dig a hole than use those things.
You ever do the fake pickup?
Maybe once or twice.
You're walking because we live kind of out. And there's a road by us that's got really no houses on, and then you get to the park and like if my dog, keeps on the road or something. But every now and then you give you a look around and nobody's around. You're like, "Oh, let's keep moving, right?" And also you look and they're like, "Oh crap, here's somebody. They saw me." So you do the old pretend to tie it in your pocket, even though it's a clean bag. You do it all the time. Like you said, right? Just let it decompose. It's gonna rain. I think my
Yeah,
dog's like 17 pounds.
it's just it's like when did we get so offended by? I get it if people are walking in it. That's not it. I would never be okay with leaving it on the trail, but it's like if it's off the beaten path and it's just let it be. It's gonna decay.
Every other animal's out there doing it. We had a dog poop right in
Yeah,
the middle of our road. That was disgusting.
yeah. Well, and I was reminded of this the other day of how much I hate these because we have 24 acres here, right? And so we trained our dogs to literally run into the back weeds, and that's where they do all their business. So I never have to clean up my yard. But when we have a dog sitter when we were on vacation, she bags it all up and throws it in my garbage can. And I'm like, why are you going into our backyard and bagging it up? It'll decompose back there. Just let nobody
Right.
walks back there. Just let it be. And then I come back and there's 40 bags in our. I'm like, what are you doing? Just let it be. Making me look bad here. Why are you picking this stuff
Right.
up?
Stop bringing the smell over here.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's mine. I don't like the dog bags. I don't like them. I'm anti.
I'm with you. We agree.
All right. Sounds good.
What's
All
been
right. So,
fun?
hey, it has been. Send us in your your suggestions. We'd love to hear what you would like to hear us talk about and interact with us. Otherwise, have an awesome night. People didn't like our unpopular opinions, so that is what it is. All right, man. Toby, you have a good night.